Oh, hi there. Welcome back. We're so glad you're with us. I'm Larry, and shooting the video here, that's the editor-in-chief, Jen, behind there. Now in this video, this is our last day in Canada. We're actually making the transition back to Alaska, although it's not the end of the trip.
So in our last video, we passed by Destruction Bay on Kluane Lake. This is our last day and video in the Yukon Territory. It's about our 12th day on the road. We're picking up somewhere near the Burwash landing area. At this point, we're not sure where we are exactly. As you can see, the fog is so thick that there wasn't much for sightseeing from the bus. We definitely wanted to show you the road conditions. I don't know if you can tell, but there were several frost heaves that made the bus feel like an amusement park ride. Between trying to capture the view and looking out for those orange flags, which Larry can't see because he's colorblind, I had my hands full.
Can you imagine driving through this at night?
Nope.
Okay, so yes, we do have a little bit of reflection, but you gotta remember, this is supposed to be the B-roll video. Stupid GoPro. I gotta admit, this part of the drive was cool. As you can see, you got the reduced visibility, almost had that Sonoran desert feel, except for all the black spruce. And then you got these surprise frost heaves that just sort of jump out at you, especially when you're colorblind.
There's another frost heave.
That one. Now you can't really see it in the camera that much because it's stabilized, but trust me, we are bouncing all over the place. Now's a good time for that air suspension. And how is it that more philosophers don't come from this part of Canada? Because man, when you look out at that lake, especially now during what we call the golden hour, you know, when the sun's just on its way down.
Or up in this case, since it is 9:30 a.m.
I tell you, you could just sit there and contemplate just about anything. Now, I know it's hard to tell from where you're sitting, but I gotta tell you, every time you see these dark spots in the road, trust me, that suspension is oscillating just a little bit. This is one of those times where you're particularly appreciative of having an air ride suspension in a big old bus. Now you might see how we're going in and out of the sunlight here so much, in between the bus going up and down so much. Well, that's because when it comes to man-made stuff, besides this road, you're surrounded by mountains and God's work, and that's really about it. What a beautiful place to be, even if you are, well, let's face it, kind of bouncing up and down an awful, yeah, see that? Bouncing up and down an awful lot.
So these vent-like structures are part of the Alaska Highway Permafrost Research Project, which is testing construction techniques to minimize thaw of the permafrost. Very cool. I wonder if it's going to work.
Cool bus shadow. Now you may recall we made reference to some of those wildfires that were up here last year in Alaska as well as Canada. Well, there you go. A burnout area that's on its way back to recovery.
Border crossings are always nerve-wracking.
Yep.
U.S. Customs 30 kilometers. Sad to say we're leaving Canada, but at the same time, okay.
Say stop anywhere.
No, just gotta go around and do not suck here. Just want you to go slow. I got Mathis. Cool little leaf there. Huh. Alright, 50.
So this area here, this is kind of like a purgatory, no man's land, kind of crossing the Hades situation. I don't know. Basically, this is the area between the Canadian border and the U.S. border. Now, what this area is called, I have no idea. I can tell you one thing: it's not that smooth. But the important part is, we made it across that first one. Now, hopefully, we make it across the second one, back into home Alaska. You know, back during my search and rescue days, I found myself on a border an awful lot, whether it was an international border or a border between states. And you gotta wonder, because we always wondered, you know, when somebody got hurt, sort of in that halfway point, who responds? State to the east, or the one to the west, or the country to the north, or the country to the south. You know, when we're in this big no man's area, I honestly have no idea. Maybe nobody responds. A little weird to think about. I guess that's just the kind of thing us old sardogs think about when we're driving across a road and we don't really know where we are.
Oh yeah, we're entering a different time zone.
So are the roads in Alaska any better? Well, take a listen. Tell us what you think. Man, that seemed like a long way over to Alaska. Check out this sign. Kind of looks like we're heading into a third world country. But now, when we came up to the border station itself, we did have to shut off the handheld camera, you know, so we could have all our paperwork in order. Which, by the way, we made it. So I gotta admit, after finally making it across the border, I don't know, you feel a sense of accomplishment. At the same time, we felt about ready to drop. Got to see these black spruce, everything looked like home. And we were tired, really tired. Okay, we made it. We are across the border, back in Alaska. Not gonna lie, it was rough. There were a couple places where it felt like the whole bus was sideways. The road was so heaved up. Speaking of that, here, I'll give you a quick walk around. It's dirty. I think our water heater shook loose a bit. The tires are still pretty much in one piece. The only carnage we've seen so far, we don't know when it happened. Probably, it seems like it happened on this part of the trip. We lost a driving light. We took one for the team. We took a hit. But, of course, a lot of bugs surrender their lives so we can do this trip. These mosquitoes aren't too bad in this part. But other than the water heater and that front driving light, don't think we took too much damage, which is amazing. The secondary strap we put on the generator cover was a good idea because the primary strap did let go at some point. So, but secondary worked, so it's all good. So that's that. Now, as far as this COVID thing, I know things are changing a lot. We've been offline for a couple days, so I really don't know. I don't know where we are with the COVID. From what I understand, well, the border guy gave us some stuff that said if we haven't been tested, we self-quarantine, and we haven't been tested. The only thing is, we've been socially distancing for almost 2 weeks in the rig here. But anyway, we'll figure it out. Anyway, we made it. Right now we're letting the bus cool down. The brakes don't smell great. The retarder doesn't smell great, but that's our update. Hope y'all are doing well.
Okay, one thing I have to point out is this whole self-leveling system, both fore and aft, and port and starboard, or left and right, depending on where you come from, but wow, check that out. There was nothing flat about where we were parked, but she was straight and level, man.
Now that water on the bathroom floor that I thought was from the water heater, turned out it wasn't. Turned out, you know how I said those roads were a little rough? Well, they're rough enough that the water that was in the toilet, which it was just water, it sloshed up and out, and that's where the water came from. So, no trouble with the water heater. So as usual, we really want to thank you guys for your time. It's awesome that we're getting more subscribers. In our last video, we had so many comments from so many cool people in so many cool places. It was cool. We really enjoyed hearing from all you guys. Now, something exciting we have to look forward to is a whole bunch of you guys bought our first run of t-shirts. And those are gonna be going out pretty soon. I gotta tell you, you need to send us pictures of you wearing those shirts, or a short video, it doesn't matter, because we'd love to put it in our content.
I believe everybody got shipping notifications this week.
You heard it from the boss.